What's up, y'all? It's Red. This is West Blue Reviews, and today we talking about One Piece chapter 1154. But first, I want to get into Superman. Peeped it last night with my father. It was pretty cool. There was a little father-son scene towards the end that I thought was pretty neat, especially sitting next to mine. Overall, the movie was pretty solid. They really had me going. The action was cool. I thought the flying was phenomenal. I think that might be the best display of flying from a superhero put to screen to date. I really don't think there's a stronger contender for best flying montage in a movie. That was really fire, especially the scene when he was angry and he had to fly to Lex, or he had to fly back to his spot when he confirmed, something wasn't right. I thought that was great. I may do a separate, full-on review, but just a couple quick points. I connected with this Superman a lot more than I thought I would. I see myself in this character a lot. If I could, I'd put on the boots too, because that's just how much, I care about helping folks. If I could, I'd help people for a living, and as much as I could, just go around helping folks. If I can make my bread that way, then I would. Yeah, I just really connected. Recently got a dog. I'm a dog owner now. I was not a dog owner when I started doing these videos. So, I've been coming around to that and, just learning, and it's like a whole rewire. So to see him, sort of, coming around and going through the same thing, I thought that was pretty cool. We even acquired our dogs kind of the same way, through family members, just looking out, and over time they just became ours after so much, together, so much time together and things like that. That was pretty cool. Never thought I'd relate to dog owners, but I do. And it was just cool, man. I dig the colors. I digged a lot of the writing. I've never compared a movie to a roller coaster like I've seen in articles before and things like that, but this was definitely a real ride. I appreciate it. That final act, that final clash, they were on one with that. I really liked that. I was jumping in my seats. I was trying to throw punches with Soups. Yeah, man, I liked it. I think they wrapped it up pretty well. Shout out to my guy who played Lex Luthor. That was a real great job. I was sitting there, I felt like I was hearing Lex from the animated series speak a couple times. Like, it really felt like they took dialogue from the show and just told him to say that, and it felt like I was watching the cartoon version of Lex brought to life a little bit. That was cool. I definitely put this above previous Superman iterations because I feel like it's the most, I wouldn't say up to date, but it's the most up to speed. I put it like that. I really couldn't connect with the other ones. I thought they were cool, and I think, the Christopher Reeves and everything we've had to get us here, I do appreciate those, but due to, I'm born in 95, those were out well before me, so I feel like there's there's a little bit of gap, but this, I feel like, makes up for it. I feel like this really does make up for the gap. I feel like the kids will appreciate it when they get to a certain point. I don't know how long it'll be before they're starting over again, but I feel like this is cool for those people, 25, 30, really coming into themselves, and becoming themselves. I feel like this is a good watch for that. Not really so much for the kids as I thought. I seen another reviewer mention that. So yeah, I wouldn't take the kids to see this one. I wouldn't. See it first and then determine for yourself. But yeah, no, I wouldn't. I'd wait until they were more, maybe like high school level. Yeah, definitely not nothing I'd take, 7 and under. Not even that it was too bad, but it's, I don't know. That's just, I don't know. Great direction, great colors, great characters, great cast, great dialogue. Yeah, man, just great execution. Shout out to James Gunn and the whole team. You guys did great. Guardians 3 was my favorite. Yeah, holla at me. But yeah, to this chapter, One Piece chapter 1154. My son went away. It'll probably come back. We start things off 63 years ago. Jarul is the oldest man in present day, so anything he says is pretty valid to me unless shown otherwise. He's pretty trustworthy. He ain't got no reason to lie. He mad old. He done seen a lot, and I'm pretty sure he'll reveal a lot more of what he knows before something tragic happens, before something more tragic happens, because Elbaf is looking pretty bad right now. Yeah, shout out to him. As it turns out, he had a partner by the name of Cascade Beard Jorul, so it's Jor, and Jorul is Jar. That kind of had me tongue twisted trying to write this and say it a couple times, but yeah, I got it. And he was killed by Big Mom, unfortunately. So that's 2 bodies, 2 confirmed bodies. You know, I see why they don't like her. You know, like I be trying to give people the benefit of a doubt, but I see why they hate her guts. You just can't go around doing people like that, Big Mom. Because imagine you a giant and you think you got a big appetite, and then here comes this little girl eating everything, including a couple people that you know, that you might know. Like, bro, I'd be mad for generations to come. So yeah, just not a good look, Big Mom. But within that same year of her eating Mr. Cascade Beard, tragedy struck Elbaf, famine. The giants are turning on each other because there's no food, but they have too much honor from what Harald's been doing to go after humans, so they're just going after each other. That's all they know. And while all of this is going on, like this low-key giant civil war, they're blaming Loki's birth for it because that's what his mother is declaring as the reason. Like, we're going through this because of this baby, and we've you know, I haven't been checking in for a while, but I've been keeping up, and she's blaming the way Loki looks for everything Elbaf's going through. Man, it could just be bad weather right now. Like, they really don't know. Like, it could just be just a bad weather pattern right now. You know, nobody can help that. So to blame a child is crazy, man. But Harald, he returns just in the nick of time to calm everybody down before it gets too crazy, because they've been wilding. They've been like literally catching bodies, you know, in the name of food and surviving. But you can't blame them, you know. So that's where they get their violent reputation from, along with the history they had before Harald was known to be as malevolent as he is now, before he wisened up, before he met Ida. So, you know, it's just not helping their reputation. But he shows up in the nick of time and he lets them know, like, yo, I've been out here trying to broker peace, and it's worked out because these people are helping us. Like, these humans are helping us. They're helping me help y'all. They're helping us survive. So, you know, just accept this aid and we'll be all right. I got y'all if y'all got me. I f with Harald, a real. And I feel like this chapter just boils down, or these last couple chapters just been boiling down to like real politics, man. Like, I see it all in the writing order. It's clear as day. It's just like, damn, that's really how it be, man. When you choose to be a force for good after accepting, you know, what you've been on for so long and choosing to change, it's always gonna be an opposition that wants you to stay the same, bro. Because it's always easier to stay the same to them, you know. It's easier that way when things are messed up, but it's harder to change. But they make it even harder, you know what I mean? So that's just what happens when you want to do the right thing. You got to deal with everybody who thinks it's just easy to accept things for how they are, and a lot of times they outweigh the people that want to do the right thing. Unfortunate, but that's life, man. You got to be a Harald out here, for real. Just wisen up. Meet you at Ida before it's too late, hopefully. You know, we all need an Ida. That's what this whole chapter is screaming to me, man. Harald's back. He's doing his thing. Loki is being raised as the child who wasn't embraced by the village. So now he's gonna attempt to burn it down to feel its warmth. And I feel like that applied to Killmonger and Black Panther. That's like the first thing that came to mind. Like, same kind of scenario. His mother was very cold, and that's why he wants to feel that warmth. But we saw that from the get-go. She wasn't feeling him. While on the other hand, like I said, Ida was raising Hajarin with love, you know what I mean, and understanding, and you know, proper values and perspective, you know, and teaching him not to think just because you're giant that you're bigger than anybody else, you know, if that makes sense. I'm ranting, but this is just, you know, I'm getting older now, man. Just the way I'm reading this is just different compared to how I started. So, it's just like I got a lot more empathy, man. Like, and we know how Oda is when it comes to mothers. He already got rid of Loki's mom, so I'm praying Ida makes it through, man. We learned that Harald was at the reverie. Big politics was going down. He was under disguise as a security for one of his homies that let him through. He was a king that got invited, and he was there under disguise. But he witnessed the murder, and he got to get up out of there before his cover got blown, which is crazy. Cause how does a giant sneak away? But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a whole nother crazy story that we might get, if not next chapter, then maybe the next three. Knowing Oda, we'll find out. But yeah, he had to dip after, witnessing the murder. It reminded me of the whole Cobra and Wappo situation, like bar for bar. So we'll see, and I think that's probably another reason why they might have tried to get rid of Harald, because they know he knew too much, or he just wasn't willing to tell something. Who knows? But he's having a conversation with Jarul, and we get more silhouettes. We get a reveal and more silhouettes this chapter. It's like Oda really is like he'll give you something and take something in the same chapter. He'll give us some silhouettes, but then he'll reveal something, or we'll get a reveal and more silhouettes, because we learn that there was a group of over 100 Warhammer giants back in the day, and they just traveled around, probably just helping broker that peace and build things. And they were apprehended at some point. They sent letters, and the last letter they sent back to Jarul was that they'd been captured, and nobody's seen them since. So most likely they'll come back into play very soon. With the way Oda's moving, especially like the reveal at the end of this chapter lets me know, like, yeah, this is probably that character that Oda was telling us about this whole time without even saying it. But yeah, giants disappearing, and it's pretty sad, man, because it reminds me of the giant story in God of War, the very first one, when they were trying to travel between the realms to find the giants. Come to find out, they turned themselves into stone, or they all died, and they're just all in this one valley, just not moving. And yeah, that was pretty sad. Yeah, shout out to God of War. Shout out to Santa Monica. I think that's Santa Monica Studios. Shout out to them. Great games. Yeah, this whole thing just boils down to real politics. The world government is the reason he can't do things the way he wants, and it's just, bro. But he's not backing down. He's got his resolve. He's not gonna let the world government punk him. He's gonna do what he gotta do, stand on 10 toes no matter what. And we see that he did that towards the end, but I feel like we're about to find out what took him out within these next 2 chapters for sure. Oda wraps the chapter up with Loki attacking a village that apparently Harald's been working hard to rebuild for so long. Haj tries stopping them. They end up squabbling, and right before Loki hits Haj, they get into like this scuffle, and it's like they have the same conversation that Ida and Harald had when they met. Him basically scolding Harald for his lack of empathy towards the humans, and it's the same thing, but Loki's not hearing that. He clocks Haj, he's on the ground, and we get this nice moment when a young Gerd and the young new giant pirates, they're there to take care of him while he's on the ground. Loki's not feeling that, because nobody ever helped him, because they think he's cursed. Nobody wanted to be around him. It's like the Naruto story all over again. So he gets reprimanded by his caretakers. They tell him he's going too far. You can't just be, pushing on Haj like that, because he's technically a prince too. That's technically loyalty. Loki was tripping on him for referring to him as his pops. But he's not feeling that, and he clocks his assistants for even referring to him as a prince, because he didn't grow up in the castle with me. He grew up in the realm of the dead, in a bar. Like, don't be referring him to me. Don't even say Pop's name. So it's clear as day how they see each other, and that's pretty sad. But hopefully they come around and they can find some kind of middle ground and some kind of understanding. And there's like a Drake and Josh hug me brother moment I hope we get that. Oda, if you watching, make it happen. I'm gonna put a reference up somewhere so you can see it. That'd be pretty nice. Then we get a shot of a young Loki, man. He tried to off himself, bro. Just made a leap of faith, and man, it was that reading that was very bitter, bro. You know, I understand Kaido's whole plight. You know, he done lived his life, done did what he did. You know, but in giant terms, like Loki, man, you just getting started, bro. And man, it was just bitter to read, man, for real. I'm glad he didn't succeed, but you know, he ends up, surprise, surprise, meeting none other than Rox D. Xebec, and we here now. There's no going back. We have an official reveal, official letterbox with the name. They even tell us like, yeah, this is Blackbeard's pops, man. This is back in the day, and yeah, man. It takes us back to the chapter when it was revealed Loki tried to join his crew, but he got ditched and stabbed. He stabbed him and he ditched him. So, you know, we're gonna see what led up to that. Yeah, Oda's not playing no more. But we here. My only questions moving forward is, where was Big Mom when Rox pulled up? Like, are we ever gonna get that timeline? Like, where exactly were the Rox crew pirates? Well, the rest of them. Like, where was Kaido and where was Big Mom during all of this? And why does Buggy's face line up so perfectly down the middle with Rox? I've seen that on Twitter. I think it's a pretty valid question. I think that's something I didn't think we noticed, but there's nothing you can really get past One Piece fans at this point. They will literally think of anything. So that's pretty crazy. And my prediction for next chapter is Harald and Rox clash. I think that would be monumental. I think that'd be crazy. It'd be a feat, and I think it's necessary. I don't think it'll just be like questions and in and out, like it's heading towards. I don't trust Rox. I think there's gonna be a clash. Shout out to Whitebeard for having a heart. He seems like the only one in the entire Rox pirate crew to have a heart. He's the only one concerned with low-key crying. Like, bro, like, yeah, you big. He hit him. Whitebeard hit Loki with that Chris Tucker. He said that boy is too damn big. But I'm glad he has a heart. He's the only one to seem to be concerned. Like, why are you crying? Like, I guess that's the dad in him, you know? So shout out to Whitebeard. He's always been solid. But yeah, that's it. One Piece chapter 1154. No break next week, so I'm looking forward to it. I'll be in Jamaica. This is the 3rd year in a row. Attending Sunfest for the first time. This is my first concert on the island. I'll be there with my family, my little family, my little pocket family. Yeah, man, y'all get outside, enjoy some of this sun. Just like Superman, it helps, I promise. Take care of your dog, feed your dogs. Yeah, man, just keep moving. I appreciate anybody checking in, showing love. Even if you don't like, even if you just peeping to see how it is, eventually I'm gonna do something that's gonna make you want to stay, so don't worry. Yeah, y'all just be cool, man. This is Red with West Blue Reviews. Y'all take it easy.